This is TNA, the new face of professional wrestling.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Feast or Fired for November 20th, 2002 weekly TNA pay-per-view. How we doing? I'm Brian, my wife Melanie.
Hello.
Probably should introduce her. Anyways,
Always forgets me.
I will say before we get started, this is probably best way I could put this. Probably the best show over. I don't know. It definitely is like the most important feeling show so far, as far as like what stories they've been telling and everything like that. Like if we were having weekly shows, this would be the closest, or like weekly television, this would be the closest to like an actual pay-per-view. You know what I mean? For me.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And that's considering. That's just, I don't know, maybe that's just how I feel about the main event feeling important, and it's feeling like the first time it actually felt like the world title match has been important and built to, and it was telling a story, selling a big story for weeks leading up to it, as opposed to like the one being built over like a week for truth. So easy to add the R in front of it. You know?
Apparently, you've been doing that a lot.
Well, it's a really easy thing to add. Just truth, or the beginning one. That's one of his WWE names. So long now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, with that said, we probably actually should talk about the show beyond just general stuff. Start with a sit-down interview with Mike Tenay and the Truth. Truth says that that Jarrett is going to be his biggest test so far. He also brings up that they both have a lot of passion for this belt, and they both want this belt really badly. But it's going to come down to who wants it more. And this actually might be one of the reasons why. Truth actually has things to say, and he sounds like he makes the belt sound important to him. And I can't say that about about Shamrock. Like, I don't feel like we built Shamrock very at all. He mostly was just a really angry guy most of the times we saw him.
True. Well, he had just gotten beaten up by.
I understand that, but like
anybody.
it almost never felt like it never felt like he cared so much about the belt as it was just it was part of just what was going on.
True.
But it felt more like it was just a grudge he had. So the belts felt secondary, which is probably part of the reason why Shamrock just never felt good as champion. But we're just speculating at this point. Match one of the night, we get a tag team match of the team of Divine Storm versus Easy Money and Sonny Siaki. I forget what the one guy's name is. It was Quiet Storm and what? Johnny Divine? Christopher Divine?
I think Chris Divine.
Yeah. It's not Johnny Divine. That's someone else.
I think. I'm not 100% sure. I put them as randos who will have a name if they're more prominent.
Yeah. I don't know if these guys are going to show up again. I don't remember either of these guys from the period in which I watched TNA. I started around the Fox Sports, like midway through this Fox Sports television run, so I don't know. But I figured this was probably going to more likely to build Money and Siaki, because I felt like they were, unless they were going to start a feud with those two right here, I really felt like those two were being built for the X Division, and this was just a match to put them in.
Yeah.
Get an explosive start from Money. He's kind of, this is one of the reasons why I said unless they were going to start the thing, because at the first this made me go what, because Divine's like taking the two guys out, and then he does like a double clothesline dive, but he does it to, I don't remember which one it was, but one of the two opponents and Siaki, so he hits his teammate. which was weird.
You're talking about Chippendale Dancer, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Money is the money is the guy that comes out dressed like a Chippendale dancer.
Stripper, not dancer. I'm sorry.
No, they're called dancers.
Are they called dancers? I
Yes.
thought they were strippers.
They're called dancers that they strip.
Okay, fine.
Oh, most strippers go by exotic dancer.
I was just thinking that. I was like, well, strippers are called exotic dancers. So, yeah, I can see that.
I also noted that the valet for Divine Storm even joins in onto this dive in into the outside action. So apparently her thing is she's going to get involved in the match. By the way, her name was Miss Trinity. I didn't mention that before.
Yeah.
Again, another one of those. If they even fucking stick around.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. They didn't even have a name tag for these guys, so I'm like, I don't even know who the hell these guys are.
They didn't give us They didn't give us the name. They didn't give us a card with their name on it.
Yeah,
Like
so
a screen graphic.
like unless you were really paying attention, which 80% of the time I don't.
Basically, unless you're listening to the commentary, you
Yeah.
wouldn't know who they were. Either way, I also noted that during this match, Money and Siaki looked like a better team. Looked like the better team, like because they were doing team moves and other stuff, and they're just working together better.
So
Versus the other two, who we keep being told have been teaming for years, but they're just like off their game.
apparently,
Mr. Denny kept getting involved and getting sick of it. Money takes her out with a massive clothesline. She got turned inside out. And then the end. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying. Apparently, Egomaniac just did not want to be part of the Flying Elvises.
I guess, but he's not doing this as I'm planning on being a team going forward. This is I would just put into a tag match.
Ah, okay. Well, he's not like doing his normal showboating things like he did with Flying Elvises.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, like he wasn't like doing all the moves himself.
This match was chaotic to the point where it didn't really matter.
True.
As tag team has been lately, fortunately.
Yeah, it probably does not help the fact that I don't pay attention to things.
Yeah. End of the match comes. It was rather uneventful. Money kept the partner out of the ring while Siaki hit his Siakalypse to get the pin. It's a fine match. Just looked like it was there to push Siaki and Money. Build them up. We get Mitchell coming out to the stage with Belladonna. He says that the tag titles is not enough for him, and that whoever wins the world title match tonight is going to be sought after by Malice. So he is announcing that he has every intention of getting the world championship.
I'm just saying he failed the last like 5 times with Shamrock. I don't with Sideburns. I don't know why Malice thinks that he's gonna win again.
Yeah, well, you got Malice coming back, and he's being a monster. So we'll see how it goes. Match number 2, Malice versus local talent, because I never caught the guy's name, nor do I ever expect to see him again.
I call him Chaos because like he had.
I know. I just said another squash match. Okay, the local talent tried to mount a comeback, but apparently a dick kick isn't even enough to stop Malice because he did that. Malice does had to go for a top rope move and then slips off entirely, falling short and falling straight on his face. And after recovering from that embarrassing botch, he gives the other guy a choke slam and wins.
Probably because he was mad the fact that he did that.
No, he missed his spot and he needed to recover. And I think I don't know, that he may have been supposed to get the win off that, but maybe since he fucked up.
Oh yeah,
he came nowhere near close to the other guy.
I was like, I think I asked you at that point. I was like, was that on purpose? And you're like,
no, he fell on his face. He just fell flat in his fucking face. Match number 3, SATs versus the Harris twins. Match starts, SATs use their speed and jump the brothers and try to get them off their game, though the twins do eventually use their power to overcome this and get control of the SATs. Don does a flop over the top rope, sitting on Jose. I noticed that when he landed, he was basically sitting on top of Jose's face.
And you were so bothered by the name that they kept calling him. What was it? Heavy
D.
Heavy D.
I'm like, oh god.
And he's not.
Because when you say Big Ron, he doesn't know because it makes it sound like he's a really tall dude. When
Which
you
he
say
is.
Heavy D, he makes him sound fat.
And right now, he is kind of on the chubby.
Or he's like,
side.
he's got a huge dick. Either way, doesn't really matter because it's the one that's wearing the shirt because he's more out of shape and you're calling him Heavy D. It makes it sound like you're calling him fat all the time. That's just me.
It's just mean.
No, it's just how I feel. Ron and Don win. Apparently, this gives them a world world tag titles match in the future. I don't know. It's fine. It was okay.
No problem.
There was nothing spectacular in this match, but nothing terrible, outside of sitting on Jose's face.
And you know what? Jose may have liked that.
Okay, we get Goldilocks in the back with April. Why would you say that? Goldilocks in the back with April. She basically is asking her what was up with her and Bruce in the shower, and April's basically sobbing, saying it was a trick by the production crew. There was no one back there.
She's innocent. She swears.
Bruce walks up to comfort April, and then Lenny shows up and he says Bruce is a fake gay man and needs to give him the Miss TNA crown. And they start fighting, and then Lawler jumps Bruce and beats Bruce down, and that was fun. Which leads straight into match number 4, BG James versus Lenny. I guess he doesn't have a last name anymore.
Lenny?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's Lenny Lang, but they just stopped calling him Lenny Lang. Just call him Lenny now. Okay, this match, to say, after what he said at the beginning, which I'm not going to actually rehash because I don't want to rehash just homophobic slurs.
And there's no reason for us to keep continuously saying that.
But this is basically a setup. It looks like James is taking out his frustration on what happened last week on Lenny, between him and Jarrett. But the match eventually gets interrupted by Bruce. Oh, I have it written. I'm such an idiot. I wrote down Bruce eventually interrupts and attacks Bruce, but it's Bruce attacks Lenny.
No, Bruce attacks Bruce.
Sometimes while trying to watch the screen, I don't write the right names, or I write the same name twice when it's supposed to be two different people. It would be really confusing if we have like two Jeffs in the ring, and I have to really make sure I do like Jarrett and Hardy instead of Jeff and Jeff. You know what I mean?
I can't wait for that.
I say at this point, even the ref has no idea what to do. Him and James were just standing there. It was like, it's a thing. That's a cat fight right there.
Yeah, because
James is laughing about it being a cat fight.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you didn't know, like, did little kitty claws.
Yeah. This somewhat gets broken up when Bruce is attacked by Lawler again, in which James just takes the opportunity to get a pin in the victory. And April's just up on the ramp crying, and then Goldie comes out, and they walk away, and it looks like it's implied that those two are now doing things, and apparently April's just sleeping with everyone.
No. Goldie kisses April's cheek, like really close to her lips, and then then they go up on the ramp together, holding hand in hand.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either.
Is this all just an elaborate? Is this all just an elaborate plan from Goldilocks to fuck with Brian Lawler because Brian Lawler has been like the worst person for her to interview?
I'm sorry, I think Siaki is.
No, she's fed up with Siaki because of his attitude, but like Lawler's been like her interviews with Lawler have been fucking weird.
I mean, it's better. She probably likes.
I don't know. I'm probably overthinking what's going on here.
Probably. You know what? She probably likes.
Sorry.
She probably likes Sean Austin look like better than she did the Dups.
Probably.
So I don't think that's a very hard thing to do.
I do.
Like I said, I don't think.
I don't ever want to see those guys again.
And I don't think we do.
Not as the Dups at the very least. I don't know. We might see Trevor Murdoch again at some point.
I'm so afraid one of our cats are going to run over my feet.
No, just be careful. Match number 5. Jorge Estrada versus Crimson Dragon versus AJ Styles, and this apparently is to become #1 contender for the X Division Championship. Crimson Dragon is a masked dude, and I didn't know who he was. He didn't have like any definition to his form or anything at all. He was just a skinny white dude under a mask, as far as I could tell. I looked up who he was, and it turned out the guy under the mask, his name is Chris Hamrick. I don't know him personally, but apparently he was best known for his time in ECW.
I think I just called him Lucha. Yeah, I just called him Lucha guy.
Just call him the Lucha dude.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lucha Fighter. I called him Lucha Fighter.
Anyways, I said Crimson Dragon does some cool things. Like he puts Estrada and AJ Styles into 2 separate submissions, but at the same time.
That's pretty cool.
Which was cool. But I also said right after this, and like ultimately the match feels really slow for a triple threat X Division match. I don't know why it was so slow. I don't know if they were just tired or what. I also wrote, I just don't want Styles to win this because I want to see someone else in the X Division picture or the X title picture.
Yeah.
At this point, Dragon went for an Asai moonsault and fell off, falling right on, and fell off. He was knocked off, but like he did the flip when he fell off, and he fell like right in his shoulders, right on the edge of the ring. That looks really, really, really hard, and looked like it really sucked. Thankfully, he landed flat, so flat on his shoulders. But like that's a good way to dislocate an arm, dislocate a shoulder or something. Crack a vertebrae. I don't know. This sucked. We get a parade of near falls. Dragon almost getting Estrada and Styles pinned at the same time after a double top rope leg drop. And then Estrada pins both Styles and Dragon at the same time. Actually, he did the same sort of thing where he pinned Styles and he pinned one of them with his legs in like a cradle, and then he pinned the other one with like a bridging suplex pin, which was really cool to see, but he didn't get the win there. The end does come when Styles does a style clash okay. I'm going to try to explain this so it's as easy as possible. He was in the corner. He gets Crimson Dragon up there. He does the style clash to Crimson Dragon, but Estrada's on the mat right under them, so when he does that, Dragon also lands on top of Estrada, and then he pins both of them and Styles wins. It was a cool finish, but not the guy I wanted to win, just because.
Because you're tired of seeing.
I'm sick of Styles being X Division, like right there in the X Division picture. I understand he's great, but I do like variety. And like this point in time, I'm like, that's would be a good point in time for Estrada to have a shot.
It would, or Lucha dude.
Especially considering like he's been consistently like fighting off more than one person, and I think it just would have been like. Oh, because he's been going through this so much, like winning the triple threat would have been like apropos.
Yeah.
We get Goldilocks in the back with America's Most Wanted. They apparently don't have a plan on what to do except for beat up Jim Mitchell. And after they do this, they're going to get back some respect and then get back their belts. Storm could barely talk in this segment. I don't know why. Again, kind of showing why one of the reasons maybe they thought Harris was going to be the breakout star between the two, whereas it ended up being Storm. But like in this moment, Harris was the better talker.
Okay, it's not their fault about him.
I can blame them.
You can blame him.
Yeah.
For the gain of weight. I really cannot talk about weight gain or anything.
I can blame them.
Oh my gosh.
We looked at those pictures. That was unfortunate.
He still looks adorable though.
It was unfortunate.
Looks adorable though. Like I just want to pinch his little cheekers.
It was unfortunate. Huh?
So mean.
I know, but it was so. I don't know what else to say.
I mean,
I don't know what happened to Harris. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, he just like out of nowhere too.
It wasn't out of nowhere. It was over a long period of time, a gradual gain. Next is apparently a title match, I guess. I don't know. Was it a title match? I'm not sure. I don't know if they ever said it was or wasn't. It was AMW versus the New Church.
I think so. I think they said yeah because they brought out the belts.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well,
Obviously.
they bring out the belt regardless if it's a title match.
Pretty sure they said it was a title match.
But I don't know.
Apparently, only one of us was paying attention.
It has nothing to do with paying attention. I was paying attention. I just don't remember them ever saying it.
I'm gonna say that they said it.
I'm going to say that they didn't.
You're so difficult.
No, I'm just not sure.
Ugh. Do you see what I have to deal with everyday people? He's so mean to me.
Okay.
He doesn't even care.
Again, we get mostly brawling outside of the ring again right at the beginning. Chaos all over the place. They do finally get back in the ring. I find it hard to care about this match because I've almost certain AMW loses, and I don't care about the New Church at all that much. They're just kind of a placeholder until I get Abyss. Even a chair shot doesn't put away Brian Lee. Lee tries to use a spike. Harris stops him. After a super kick, Storm uses the spike on Lee, and they get disqualified.
Yeah, that is something I'm confused about. Because that is exactly what the other people did last week.
They didn't see them do it last week.
Oh, okay. That totally makes sense then. I mean, I guess it technically does. I don't know. It just annoys me when people do that.
So, with them already being disqualified, Storm and Harris basically are just enacting their revenge here.
They're like, okay.
They're just like, at this point, we're like, okay, well, we're just gonna beat the shit out of these guys. Belladonna tries to get involved, but Horman's to try and stop them, but eats canvas for it. They just fucking slammer. Harris even hits his catatonic on the ref for getting in their way. The crowd is like really behind this. These two right now are like the hottest act in TNA. Like based upon crowd reaction, these two are like the #1 stars.
I'll take your word for it because I'm not sure.
If you pay attention to the crowd, they are nowhere near as loud and as active as they were during this segment where Harris and Storm were just kicking the shit out of the New Church.
Maybe they really don't like the New Church.
There's something you can say about hating someone so much that you like to see them be beat up, but generally, unless you actually care about who's doing the beating up, you're not going to cheer.
I'm going to say this every time.
You're more like, generally speaking, an audience seeing people that they really hate getting beat up by people they don't care about are going to still be quiet, whereas it's people that they love beating up people that they hate, they're going to have a large reaction. So,
anytime Egomaniac gets beat up, I cheer.
It's you personally.
I guess that is.
I'm talking about my years of experience watching wrestling and paying attention to the crowd. Not to mention being in the crowd multiple times in my lifetime. So
I offered recently, like a month ago.
Okay, but like it's not a couple things. One, this was during a time period where I actually was going. I was going during this time period that we're talking about.
Okay.
Secondly, even if I went now, we're talking WWE versus what this is. This is TNA. This is something completely different.
I looked at TNA stuff too.
I understand, but it's and back then TNA and today's TNA are also today's Impact Wrestling are two different things entirely almost, because they've changed so much since then.
Excuse.
And even then, that doesn't change anything about what I know about the crowd. You know what I mean?
I guess. I just like making
it doesn't change my experience and understanding and just years of listening. And I mentioned listening to other people talk about crowd reaction and stuff like that. Listening to like Brian Alvarez.
I don't know who that is.
He's a wrestler and a wrestling commentator who does a podcast.
Oh.
So he does a wrestling review shit like this.
I bet you he's better.
Yeah, he's might have the same first name, but he's far better than me at this.
Oh no, I think I bring you down.
I don't know. Vinny's. I don't know. Vinny is not the I don't know. Vinny's fine, I guess. He's silly. I like him.
I don't know what you're referring to, but okay.
Maybe someday I'll have you listen to like some of the old Brian and Vinny reviews after we've reviewed an episode, just so you can hear him and see like how similar we were in reaction. I don't know. They don't break down the shows as anywhere. They don't break down the shows necessarily in the same way I do, so I think it'll be a little bit different.
You're just so cruel to me. I mean,
Okay.
Cat, seriously.
Storm and Harris do eventually try to chase down Mitchell, but because of security getting in the way, Mitchell's escapes. Now that we've been on a tangent. All right. We get a sit-down interview today with Amazing Red. I can't believe they've never given Red a mic before. Oh my god, this guy can't talk.
He's so soft.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to say. They didn't plan this out. They just sat him down and said, just answer his questions. And we'll record it. They just wrote he has zero charisma. He has zero charisma and just says he wants to do new things. Like that explains his style. I just want to do things that you haven't seen before, sort of. Also, he said his inspirations were Hulk Hogan and Mysterio, which was weird. You couldn't have two different guys as your inspiration. You know what I mean?
I guess. I don't know.
Hulk Hogan was the old school 80s, bigger than life, wrestler that had, the limited move set, but he got over with charisma. And then you have Mysterio, who wasn't really much of a talker, but he got over with being an amazing little guy that could fly and do this incredible shit. Like, they're almost exact opposites. You know what I mean?
I guess.
All right. I guess it was more of supposed to be like Hogan's what got him into wrestling, but like Mysterio's what made him like to be a wrestler, probably. That's what my guess is.
Sounds about right, I guess.
But Red can't talk, so he can't convey the ideas very well.
He tried. Give him.
That was trying. I don't believe that was trying.
He tried.
I don't think that was trying.
What do you mean?
I feel like they ambushed him, said you're having this interview, and he was just like, oh.
He was like, no, you know what? He probably declined it, but they're like, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, and he's like, nothing.
Fine. I'm doing it. Match 7. X Division Championship match. Amazing Red versus Jerry Lynn. This was really good. This was really good. We get a stalemate opening, testing agility and their read of each other. Lynn catches Red leaping to him on the outside of the ring, and then he has Red upside down, like hanging upside down in front of him, and he rams it right in the ring apron. That was cool. Lynn starts doing some submission moves. More than we're used to from Lynn. He was basically trying to slow Red down. I think that was this was my game plan. I'm going to slow Red down, see how it goes. Get a really cool back and forth moment in this match with Lynn tries to go for his package pile. Is it package or cradle? It's cradle pile driver. He tries to go for his cradle pile driver, but it's block. Then he tries to lift Red to do a power bomb. Red then goes over to try to do a sunset sort of overhead pull down. But on his way down, Lynn stops him, uses the momentum of flipping him back up on him, and then flips Red over and drops Red on his face. It was really cool. It's hard to describe. It was a really cool moment in this match. The end finally comes with Lynn hitting a cradle pile driver on his second attempt from the corner and gets the win. It was, and I wrote, this is a fucking good match.
Yay!
That was a great match.
Yeah.
It's that Red can't talk, but Jesus Christ, is he so fucking good in the ring.
Oh, you're okay with that anyways. You're fine if they can't
For
talk.
someone who's 20, he's 20, isn't he? Something like that.
Is he 20
he's
or
really
is he
good.
18?
He's really young. What?
But is he 20 or is he 18?
I don't remember, but he is really good in this match. If he can still go like that today, I would try to seek out Amazing Red matches from today. I don't even know if he still wrestles. He probably does.
The world may never know.
I can look it up right now.
Why do you have to do this to me?
Because I have reason. Because it gives me a reason to pad out the show. Amazing Red. He would be 20 then because he's 40 now.
Probably not.
He's still wrestling apparently in a promotion called House of Glory.
You would think he wouldn't.
Oh no, wait, no. This is a training school.
So no, he doesn't still wrestle.
No, he wrestles in House of Glory because it's a training school, but they have, shows.
You know what? You just sound confused.
I'm not confused. It's absolutely what's going on.
I sound confused.
Whatever. Match number 8, because we have 8 matches this week instead of 10, thankfully, which means the matches that need proper time are given proper time. Some of these matches didn't need a lot of time. But tonight, it's the main event, World Championship match, Ron Killings versus Jeff Jarrett. I wrote this is the first World Championship... Can
you talk?
Apparently not today. This is the first World Championship match that feels actually important. Like, properly built to, both guys care, that sort of situation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the match, Ron shows he's been getting ready for Jeff. Because he's got Jeff number. I've been watching you. I've been paying attention to what you do. Because at the first here, he's got every time Jarrett tries to get him, like, Ron is ready and able to get around it and get control again. And so Jarrett's like at first not able to do anything. After showing some disrespect, though, Jarrett finally has a fucking fire lit under his ass, and he gets in some shots and starts getting in some momentum on Truth. Doesn't maintain it for very long, though. Truth taking control again. Truth even breaks out the figure 4 that Jarrett generally uses to rub it into his face. And then when we get the spot where eventually, Jarrett turns it over, and now it's hurting Truth, and Truth grabs the ropes to break it apart. And then I wrote, at some point, Jarrett tries to go for the stroke, and I just wrote that Ronnie uses the most unique counter I've ever seen for the stroke. It's a big old belly slap.
I remember that.
He didn't hit him. He didn't punch him. He just smacked him across the stomach like, oh, look at that belly. And I imagine this just confused Jarrett to the point where he couldn't do the stroke anymore.
Do you think that was planned, or do you
I don't know, but it was funny.
Do you think Eddie Gordo was just like, he's like, you know what, last second I'm going to do this? And Sunglasses was like, what the hell? That wasn't what we planned.
I don't know, but it was funny. It doesn't really matter. I countered it.
In the weirdest way.
Jarrett takes Truth to the outside. But this gets reversed, and he goes head. He's going to whip. He tries to whip Truth into the corner on the outside. But it gets reversed, and Jarrett goes face first into it, and this busts him open. So now Jarrett's just bleeding, and this is probably the worst. This is probably the most bleeding we've seen from one person yet. I think. I can't think of any time anyone's bled more.
Yeah.
Next closest would be Lynn.
I thought, yeah.
And then, in his match, he was bleeding with Truth, but that was probably it.
I thought he bled more.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's hard to tell. Like, Jarrett's hair was, like, most of his hair was red by the end of this match. So.
Yeah. Well, so was Oodles and Noodles. And Oodles and Noodles has more hair.
Well, it's harder to tell with Lynn because Lynn has, like, 2 tones to his hair. Because I think his natural color is brown, and he dyes it blonde.
Oh no, there are some people that have hair colors like that, like they have natural highlights, and his hair doesn't look like it's dyed.
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't either, because I think he still has that same hairstyle.
But they spent a good amount of time brawling through the crowd. Ron even puts Jarrett onto a table and jumps off a balcony onto him.
Kind of like what what Slasher did to Kitty.
Yeah.
Except not as high.
It wasn't quite as high. It was almost the same spot.
Yeah, it was almost exactly the same spot.
They do finally get back to the ring. Though they say it was almost a count. They tried to claim this was almost counted out, which is funny.
I don't know who would win at that point. Would they both be disqualified?
No, I think they were saying Jarrett was almost counted out.
Oh. Why?
Because he was the last one to get back in the ring.
But he went in and then like.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, fine, whatever.
For the most part, I don't consider. For the most part, it seems like they're very, very lenient with countouts and stuff like that. TNA plays really loose with things like countouts and disqualifications, and they're not consistent, and it sucks. And I wish it was consistent, but we just kind of just have to ignore it.
Yeah, considering then you have your wife going, but I don't understand, and I sound like a dumb blonde, and I'm not blonde. Sorry.
Okay, you have to understand. Yes, it's dumb. Yes, they're not doing things the way they should, but that's on them.
Just so you all know, I'm not actually criticizing blondes. I have known some quite smart blondes. And I'm brunette, so I'm stupid at this point.
The one they're getting back in the ring, we get a back and forth series of them just punching each other, which somehow leads to a ref bump. I don't know. I forget how they did it. I don't know if it was someone ducked a clothesline and he choked out the ref. I don't remember exactly how they did the bump here.
Wasn't it
what?
Wasn't it Eddie Gordo that did it?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think someone.
It really doesn't matter who put down the ref because it was an accident.
Yeah.
But with this happening, we get a double down, and then Mr. Wrestling 3 comes to the ring with a guitar. He teases hitting Truth, and then he teases hitting Jarrett, and then he nails Truth.
Why? Like, why him?
And then he gets the ref conscious enough to pay attention. Jarrett crawls over, pins Truth.
Ignore
And the ref, not seeing any of the debris apparently, counts the pin, and Jarrett wins, becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion.
Yay!
And I wrote that the Reign of Terror begins because he's World Heavyweight Champion for quite a bit of the next few years.
With his first chance. Well,
his first time holding the title out of like 5.
Hey, you know what? It's important to him. Or Eddie Gordo, though. He did a really cool rap at the beginning, though. You didn't mention that.
Because it's been the same rap he's done like 5 times before.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, apparently I just now heard it.
And the show goes off the air with one final thing happening. Mr. Wrestling 3 stands right in front of Jarrett and pulls off his mask to reveal that he has this entire time been Vince Russo.
I don't know who that is.
And Jarrett looks shocked by this. So I guess Jarrett did not know it was him. Based upon this moment. My wife doesn't know who Vince Russo is.
I'm sorry. Should I?
Should I explain to you right now who Vince Russo is, just so you have a basis of understanding, so that you know that he is someone that people would recognize?
Maybe for the other people as well, yeah.
Okay. Vince Russo was a writer for WWE for a while.
Okay.
He helped shaping the early Attitude Era. I don't know anything specifically he necessarily helped create. I don't remember because I just don't remember off the top of my head. But he helped form a lot of what the foundations of the Attitude Era was before he was what's the word I'm looking for? Poached by WCW to come write for them. So he went to go write for WCW for pretty much the remainder of WCW's life. And one of the main differences between Vince Russo in WWE and Vince Russo in WCW was outside of things like the creative control that like Hogan and Kevin Nash and a few other guys had. Vince Russo was not really told no on anything in WCW, whereas in WWE, you would have like Vince McMahon there going like, no, that's a stupid idea. Let's not do that. But in WCW, no one really ever told Vince Russo, this is stupid. We shouldn't do it. So Vince Russo was one of the contributing factors into why WCW started becoming really kind of crappy and really started to hurt it in the long run. And the thing is that Vince Russo, because of all of that, and because of what he does in TNA, and with a lot of repeating the same mistakes that he does, got a really bad reputation for being a shitty fucking writer. And like he had an on-screen presence in WCW 2 that was really shitty. So seeing him on screen in TNA, people would be like, "Oh no, not him."
Yeah.
So
I didn't have.
Unfortunately, Vince Russo. I don't think. Okay, the thing is, I don't think Vince Russo. I think he doesn't take. I don't think he takes criticism well.
Probably not. Does anyone?
But I don't think Vince Russo has ever been malicious in anything he's in any of this. I think Vince Russo just likes his ideas and tries to find ways to make them work, and it just doesn't always work out. And it's unfortunate because the guy seems like a really nice guy, even if he's like not good at taking criticism. I've talked to Vince Russo a little bit before, just like on his streams. It's just not like personally, but like I'd ask questions and he's answered. But yeah, it's a guy with it's basically a guy with a bad reputation, unfortunately. And even to the point that like when they had their TV program in TNA, with Spike TV even made a rule eventually that you can't have Vince Russo working for you.
Didn't they do it behind their back then?
Yeah, and then it turned out,
that.
And that was one of the reasons why Spike TV dropped the television contract, because they found out they still had Vince Russo writing for them, even though that was like one of the 2 rules they gave them that they couldn't do, things they couldn't do, and they broke both those rules.
I remember. I don't know if you told me that, or if we were watching something, or you were watching something, and I was like trying to sleep or whatever.
I don't remember.
And I remember hearing that, and I was like, and I vaguely remember Russo as a last name, but that could be a very common last name. I think like at least 3 other actors have that last name.
I guess.
I'm not sure. Not necessarily in wrestling, and just in general. And I just remembered that, so. Yay to memories.
Anyways.
Oh yeah, we still have to do our feature.
The second rule was, no male on female violence on screen. And they did that too.
I was like, didn't they break that too?
They had Bully Ray put Dixie Carter through a table. And that did that too. That counted as well. And you'll meet Dixie Carter later. We'll get into that when she's around. She stops TNA from going like completely tits up really after like a few months. I don't know if it was even a few months, it was like 6 months or something. So basically she comes in and stops TNA from just like not existing anymore, but she doesn't really help it become better. You know what I'm saying?
Well, sometimes you have to just let it be status quo and then pass it off to someone else.
It was more of she used the money from her father's company to buy it and finance this, and she never really made a profit, but
oh, that's sad for her.
Eventually the money was cut off and she had to sell, and we are where we're at now in Impact Wrestling, where they're stable but small comparatively to like AEW and WWE, but it's fine. They're like number 2 or number 3. Sorry, not number 2. They're like number 3 or number 4 in the US right now. So I can't say it's all bad. We've gotten a lot of talent go from TNA to other places where they've been bigger, and it's or they've come from other places and got themselves
even higher.
Gotten themselves better off. Like an instance, like Drew McIntyre is someone who left WWE, did some TNA work, and then went back to WWE better than ever. But so yeah, it's what it is. Anyways, let's finish reviewing this show. Let's give it a feast or fired, and let's end this, because we can ramble. We could ramble for an hour about random facts.
We can, and we have.
But we don't need to, because they're not necessarily important to this program. So this program I'm just gonna go first today because I want to because I think it's important.
Apparently, ladies are not always first.
This program felt like the most important, most deliberate show so far. I don't feel like there was anything that didn't serve a purpose, or there was a moment in here where I said I didn't understand the reasoning why this was happening. Even if necessarily not everything would make perfect sense, because obviously there are moments where you go, this doesn't still like, the rules are loose or whatever.
Yeah.
Because most things aren't perfect. Most things have flaws.
I'm perfect. At being imperfect.
Besides my wife.
I'm not perfect.
And we had the World Championship match, the one that I feel like is the best world title match so far, even with the fuck finish. And the most important title match, or world title championship match so far, with having built up Jarrett's journey up to this point.
Yeah, he did.
This is an enthusiastic feast for me.
Huh. Well, let's go, because I don't actually go by, the actual storyline, because like 90% of the time I don't understand what the hell's going on.
I don't care how you grade it, just grade it.
So, I actually kind of like Sunglasses. He's like in my top 10. And he
There's
won.
nothing wrong with him.
I'm a little sad because Estrada lost, but sometimes you got to build it back up. Oodles and Noodles won, which I like. I didn't really care about the one tag team match, the one with Kitty and Country Singer, because at this point in time, they'll eventually get it back or they won't. And I only barely paid attention.
I can tell you that they do.
And then Egomaniac won with Chippendale Stripper, which I kind of like Chippendale Stripper because it's
easy money.
Yeah, because he's so unique. I think I may give this a feast. Yeah, it's a feast.
Why would you say may?
Well, because
Like,
I wasn't. Because I may change my mind in the second later. Who knows? I'm a woman. We change our mind sporadically.
The word you're looking for is fickle.
Do you hear how he's mean to me, people? He is super mean to me by correcting me.
Anyone who actually listens to this at this point in time would be just like, man, she's just crazy.
Or stupid, or both.
I wouldn't say stupid.
Anyways, yes, I would give it a feast, I guess.
All right, double feast. This is the easiest, probably one of the easiest feasts for me. Honestly.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else to add?
No.
Well, if in that case, I think we should wrap this up.
The only thing I have to say is Thanksgiving is later on this week. So happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night.
All right. Well, with that said, keep on wrestling and like, comment, and subscribe, all that stuff. I'll see you around. Take care.